this video, I'm going to show you some creative ways to use the flow stack in conjunction with some of the classic MMT indicators. I've got the flow stack on my 5-minute chart over here. I've also got the flow stack on this 1-minute chart, but I'm using it in a completely different way. I'll show you all the settings towards the end of the video. On the 5-minute chart, I just have the flow stack and the ultimate point of control. I've got the delta numbers above the candles for both the NQ and the ES on this 5-minute chart. And then on my 1-minute chart, I've got a bunch of different key levels. So instead of having the numbers above the candles, I've got the delta grid activated. I put the flow stack in its own new panel. So this delta grid appears in a brand new panel. I can see the delta for the current bar plus the past 6 bars. And I'm looking at the delta for the NQ and the ES. I can also add a couple of other different instruments as well. This is the price action from this morning. This is the New York Open here. You can see right out of the gate we had positive delta across the board. Candles turn green. We got a nice pop up there. I've got a few different signals on the chart. On the 1-minute chart, I've got the polarity washout signals, and I have 2 different types of divergence from the trend and reversal indicator with a couple of different inputs. So I can scrunch up this chart as much as I want. There's another washout signal back here. The delta grid is going to stay right where it's at. So just depending on your own personal preference, if you want to see more of the candles and you just want to see the delta for the last 7 candles, you can do that. Or if you just want to focus on the current price action, you can just space these out so that the candles are right above the respective delta for each candle. I've been using this bigger, bolder setup the past few days. I like it. I've got the 5-minute spaced out as well. I've increased the font size on the flow stack, but this bigger, bolder chart style helps keep me focused on what is going on as far as price action for each 1-minute and 5-minute candle. Then I've got my higher time frame view over here on the 60-minute. I've got half of my key levels over here on the 60-minute. And then I've got the other half of them on the 1-minute. See, we just came up to the R1 pivot, pretty much to the tick there. Just dropped off 50 points. It was also pre-market high. So these candles are being painted by the flow stack. Delta has to exceed 100 on both instruments. And the heikin ashi also has to be in alignment on both the NQ and the ES. So right here, the heikin ashi was bullish. The delta was above 100 on both instruments, so we got the color change there. And then even as we were coming down here, the delta did go bearish, but the heikin ashi was not bearish on both the NQ and the ES. If we would look at an ES chart, I believe the ES was cruising up this morning, so it was not bearish. Then you can see as we pulled back, we're staying bullish. Now we're getting another move up here. On the 5-minute chart, I'm just looking for when delta exceeds 100 on both instruments. There's no heikin ashi condition. The extra heikin ashi condition is only on my 1-minute chart. So the 5-minute candle went bearish. Up here, we just dropped down over 30 points after this candle went bearish. So we just pulled down to the 20 SMA. Even though this candle went bearish on the 1-minute, check out point of control. Point of control is down in the bottom wick. That is bullish. So we got some mixed signals going on right there. So I'm just waiting for as many things as possible to line up in my favor. It's a total mixed bag on the first 2 5-minute candles so far. So the 1-minute went bearish once again, but look at this big bottom wick. That's a bullish price action candle right there. We just rejected off of the 20 SMA once again. We're getting a lot of back and forth action here. If we get a lot of delta coming in, get a break above these recent highs, that could be a decent trade. So we have had some positive delta, pretty strong on the NQ here. Got a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to get into a long there. I'm going to put my stop up below this recent low. Still a positive delta coming in on both instruments. 5-minute is bullish across the board at the moment. This candle closed with a decent bottom wick, so that's bullish. I like that. We've got a lot of positive delta coming in on the ES intrabar there. And we just got that nice little extra push. Definitely took a lot longer than I usually like when I'm taking my scalps. I stayed in a little bit longer because the stop was not very big. If my stop needed to be a little bit lower, I might have got out early there. This candle just closed with a big top wick, so that's bearish. So even though we have this positive delta on the ES, I want price action to be bullish as well. Again, I'm just trying to have as many things lined up in my favor as possible. Just gonna wait and see how this candle closes. Right now we got a top wick with point of control up into the wick a little bit. So that candle just closed. That's a bearish candle to me with the top wick and point of control into the wick. After the close of this candle, we just dropped down over 20 points right away. Negative delta coming in across the board. We just got a washout signal interbar on the 5-minute. This will be the third attempt on the 20 SMA. We have yesterday's point of control right in the way there at 400. Just waiting to see where that candle closed. So we weren't able to close below the 20 SMA with much conviction there. We had the bottom wick there and we just rejected pretty hard. The last 5-minute candle was staying bullish. So there's some mixed signals there. All right, so this candle pretty much engulfing all the delta that came in on this candle, completely overpowered all the delta on the previous candle. And looking back, we had a lot of positive delta on the ES building up as well. So when this candle came in, it still wasn't overpowering the strong positive delta on the ES on the prior 4 candles. Some very strong positive delta. I'm not trying to get in the way of that at the moment. We've got yesterday's value area high up here at 520. All right, we're coming up to yesterday's value area high. That is a buttload of positive delta on both instruments there. Don't think I want to take a short into that. We had a washout signal back here, and we came right up to this 50% level from the MMT 50/50. We did get some hold up there. Came down about 8 or 9 points, but we had a bottom wick on this candle, which is bullish. Flow stack candles were still green. Higher time frame, still green with lots of positive delta coming in. We are getting some hold up here at yesterday's value area high. If anything, I like a long, if we can get some kind of retracement just based off of the previous delta 5-minute NQ and ES here. Got some decent negative delta coming in on this previous candle. So maybe I'll be able to get some kind of retracement to hop in on a long. All right, I'm gonna get into a long there. Point of control down into the bottom wick here. Point of control down in the bottom wick there. Got my stop below this 50/50 level. This is just based on the prior 5-minute delta just being incredibly bullish there. There's 10 points. We started getting positive delta on the NQ and the ES on this candle. Flow stack's been bullish this whole time on the 1-minute. All right, we got some divergence from the momentum of the 3-period SMA. I'm looking at yesterday's high up here, 75. Never taking a signal just because it appears. If I had this kind of signal with point of control up into the wick, some dwindling delta, might want to take it, but this is a bullish candle as far as price action. And look at the delta, very bullish. Even back here on this washout signal to the downside, mixed bag of delta, and the flow stack was bullish. All right, now we got some negative delta coming in. We are at the 50 level. Rather get it at yesterday's high, around 570. First touch of yesterday's high. See how this candle closes here. It's looking pretty good. All right. More divergence. Point of control up into this top wick here. Got my stop right above yesterday's high. There's 10 points. We had a lot of negative delta coming in on the 5-minute. Some nice negative delta on this prior 1-minute candle as well as the current candle. So those are the things that I'm looking for in the day-to-day markets. This is my basic core setup. No matter how many times the visuals change, no matter what kind of signals that I'm looking for on my chart, I pretty much always have the 5-minute, the 1-minute, and the 60-minute time frames. I like looking at delta and order flow. I like looking at some kind of trend signal. I like looking at some kind of reversal signals. And I've got all my favorite key levels on the charts. Then I'm paying attention to volume, both on the volume profiles, from the daily volume profiles, and then also volume in the form of the point of control for each candle. So let's take a look at the big boy setups for the 1 minute and the 5 minute. On the 1 minute chart, I've got the free NINZA bar status. I've got the MMT 50/50 showing me all those 50% levels and the 50% wicks levels. I've got the MMT extra levels, which is not out yet. The MMT ultimate VWAP. I've got a 250 SMA, a 20 SMA. I've got some Fibonacci key levels on here. This indicator is also not available quite yet. Got the ultimate POC, painting the point of control for each candle. I've got the key levels on the chart. I've got the MMT market maker chart buttons, so I can easily place my trades right on the chart. I've got the MMT polarity. This is only showing washout signals. These are the stronger washout signals, 20, 20, 2, and 2. Got the flow stack on the chart. I'm showing the delta grid. I've bumped up the font size. I'm showing 6 previous bars. I've got my custom labels. My main chart is an NQ 1 minute chart. And then I also have a secondary instrument. I've got the ES 1 minute, and it's looking for 2 signal conditions. It's looking for when the delta number threshold is exceeded on both instruments, and also the heikin ashi must be bullish or bearish on both the NQ and the ES. Then I've got it painting the trend color bars and the outline. This is calculating on price change live in real time. I've also got 2 instances of the MMT trend and reversal. This is just showing me divergence. Look back of 1, overbought 90, oversold 10. Got this painting on bar close. The first divergence has an input series of the momentum with a period of 3. And then the input series for the momentum is the SMA, also with a period of 3. So it's measuring the momentum of the 3-period SMA, looking for divergences based on this input series. I'm just noticing in the background we got this 5-minute chart, and as we were coming up, the flow stack was staying bearish, and we just got a washout signal to the downside, number 8, up here in the 60s. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Got some negative delta coming in on the ES on this candle, pretty strong as well. So the second instance of the MMT trend and reversal, same settings, different colors for the divergence so I can tell them apart, different offsets so they're not right on top of each other. This has an input series of the MMT ultimate delta in cumulative mode, and the plot is the delta close. So I'm measuring the divergence of the cumulative delta. So those are the settings for the 1 minute chart. I'm just looking at all this negative delta coming in on the previous candles. I also noticed I've got some delta divergence on the 60-minute chart as well. These 2 divergence signals are the same as on the 1 minute chart. I've got the momentum of the 3-period SMA divergence and cumulative delta divergence. You can see we had a really nice signal back here on the 60-minute chart. I'm gonna go for a short here. Got my stop right above the highs here, recent highs. I got plenty of room until the next key level here. Got negative delta coming in across the board. Flow stack color went bearish. This washout signal on the 5-minute appeared when we were in the 60s. We already dropped down over 20 points from when this washout signal appeared. Looking at this candle that just closed, nothing that's making me really want to get out of this trade. There's really no wicks on either side. It's still bearish on the flow stack, the red candle. Still bearish on the higher time frame. The 20 SMA is creeping up close to my take profit, but I'm still slightly above it, so it's okay for the moment. Look at all this negative delta coming in live in real time across the NQ and the ES. About to manually close this out. All right, got my take profit, 10 points. So let's take a look at the settings on the 5-minute chart real quick. Very simple setup on the 5-minute chart. I got the polarity with the same settings, got the ultimate POC, and then for the flow stack, I am not showing the delta grid. I've got the same thresholds of 100 and 100. I've got the delta number above the candles, got the font size jacked up. I've got a secondary instrument enabled of the ES 5-minute because this is a main chart of the NQ 5-minute. And I've only got 1 signal condition, just the delta number threshold. So those are the settings. These are some of the things that I'm looking for in my day-to-day trading. There are links to all of the MMT indicators in the description. The flow stack, the key levels, the ultimate point of control, trend and reversal, ultimate delta, ultimate VWAP, 50-50. Definitely some of the more popular indicators. There's a full list of all the indicators in the MMT collection at monkeymantrades.com. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan at Lucid or Apex, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, TradeDay, thanks so much for your support. I wish you best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.